This is a project I've been meaning to do for a very long time. I just didn't quite know how to tackle it, and I didn't feel the need to do it. So let's take a few steps back in time to when we first purchased this boat. This is my Voyager 16 foot. It's got a 23 horse surface drive Mud Buddy on the back, and originally I had this transom mount 50-pound, what is this, Endura trolling motor on the back. It worked. It got the job done. It got me, it was an electric motor that I could use. So I wasn't super happy with it. It didn't handle very good on the lake. The nose of the boat just flip-flopped around all the time. Setting decoys out of this thing was kind of a pain in the butt. And I could just tell that it wasn't the right setup for this boat in particular. So long story short is, this broke. This little piece where it drops down, the little two tabs that hold it in place, it broke. So I kind of had my hand forced into needing to get a new trolling motor. Yeah, I probably could have gotten that one repaired, but I wasn't super happy with it to begin with. So this big box behind me is a brand new trolling motor. It is a Minn Kota Terrova, and we're gonna get that unboxed and try and dry fit it to the boat to start. I'm still waiting on a few things to come in the mail, but you know, it's like a new toy on Christmas. You gotta get it out of the box, play with it a little bit, and I think once I get it out of the box and on the deck of the boat, it'll make a little bit better sense on how to mount it. This light bar right here, it's been good to me. It's done its job for many years, probably a couple years now, but it's gonna have to go for the new trolling motor to come into its spot. So this is the area that's always been kind of a big pain in the butt with me wanting to buy a trolling motor. See here, there's a nice little lip from the deck to the edge, and then it kind of slopes down forward. So it's kind of a big pain in the butt to get it rigged up to mount a trolling motor to. I've looked all over the internet trying to figure out ways that other people have done it, and I think I've settled on a way that I feel like I kind of came up with the idea. Some people have done it with metal, some people have done it with wood, but I'm gonna be using something different. In this box that came in the mail today, I've got this. The sun's coming out. Hold on a second. This right here is a 1-inch thick piece of HDPE plastic. Bought it on Amazon. I'll leave a link to all the stuff that I ordered on Amazon down below. That way you guys can find it nice and easy, and it's an affiliate link, so I will get a little bit of kickback from it. So these are 1-inch thick pieces of plastic. I didn't want to go with wood because wood, I'll have to replace it, and I figured if I could find something like this online, which fortunately I did. It wasn't too expensive. It was like 25 bucks for this sheet, and it's a 12 by 12 by 1. My thought process is that if I can get this cut to fit the nose of the boat, it'll make that transition from the deck of the boat level with the front lip here. So the big issue is like I couldn't mount it straight to the deck because this is too tall, and you need the front of the trolling motor to come over the edge of the boat so it can drop down into the water. So this is going to be part of the solution. I had this light bar rigged up onto the deck of the boat with rib nuts, and I think that's going to be a great solution for getting this trolling motor attached to the boat as well. So we're going to go ahead and pop this light bar off real quick. Unfortunately for me, I think I got another use for this light bar, so I'm going to hang on to this thing. I lost my dikes, so I gotta use these. All right, light bar is off. Step 1 complete. All right, we got it all unboxed here, and it came with a bunch of different parts because this is kind of a souped up model of the Terrova. It's got the chirp sonar on it, so it's going to be able to link up with my Humminbird. and it's got a electric foot pedal, which I'm excited to try this out, but what I'm really excited to try out is the remote that comes with it. And on this boat in particular, since the deck, it's not one that you want to stand on or really, I mean, you could probably put a cooler up there and sit on and be all right. But for the most part, this boat, you want to stay down below the deck. And this right here is going to be killer. Even though this foot pedal's got a super long cord and it'll stretch down there. But this is actually, I think this is a new model for 2024. It is advanced GPS, and I'm just super pumped to get it all figured out. I don't know a whole lot about the electronics of this system. I know it's got spot lock, and it's got like set a course, so like if you point it in a direction, it'll just keep traveling that way. There's tons of features on that. We'll get into that in a future video, but today we're just kind of doing a little unboxing and getting it dry fitted to the boat, and hopefully by the end of this video it's installed in the boat. I did a lot of research on trolling motors. I was debating between the Terrova and the power drive, and I think the selling point for me on the Terrova was the deploy function on it. It's just one button right back here. So on this boat, like I said, being on the deck sucks. So having a button I could just press and then fold it down, and then same button, you press it and it comes up, and it's got a lift assist on it. The power drive, it has a button up here that you have to press for it to go down, and a button back here to go up. And the power drive, it just didn't have quite as many of the features that I was looking for. So I figured I'd spend a little extra money and get the product that is going to fit my needs the best for the longest period of time. So that's why I went with this bad boy. I think for today's purposes, well, this evening, I'm going to just get this thing out and put it on the deck, and we'll figure out where we want to mount this thing so we can get into the next steps. Because mounting it, it's going to require a little bit of tinkering and building. Okay. When it comes to mounting this motor on this boat, I've got a couple options. I can mount it straight down the side like this, to where it'll be more like, I'd say, close to that. Or I could finagle it to come over the nose of the boat, which actually I think I kind of like that better, just from the way it looks here. But I don't know which side I want it to come off, so I'm gonna have to play with it a little bit. And it's looking like this is gonna be a super important piece, this plastic block. So I'm gonna tinker with this just a second and show you guys kind of where I decide that I'm gonna put this thing. I think I've got it all figured out where I want it to go, and it should look something like this when we're done. I guess this is kind of a better angle for you guys. One thing about this Terrova is it has to stick out a ways from the edge of the boat, because it drops down into a little U-shaped deal right here. So the motor's really gonna come down back here, not all the way out here. So this is gonna stick out a little ways. I gotta make sure it's out of the way of one of these rollers. So like if they're trailering the boat or taking it off, it's not the right angle. I don't want it to come and hit the trolling motor. This 1-inch block is perfect. I'm gonna trim it up so that it fits like flushly underneath it. And I'm also going to end up getting a quick release bracket. I wanted to get the one that was like the little puck, and then it slides into a little hole on the other one. You put a pin through it, but I don't think that's going to work for this, just based on the spacing where it can attach to the boat to where it needs to be. So I'm going to probably have to get one that slides in and you kind of latch it into place. No big deal, but it is what it is. The boat's making me decide on things that I have to do to make it fit to this boat. But overall, I think I've still got plenty of deck space up here to throw decoys on, or maybe a blind or something. There's plenty of room for somebody to sit up here. Like I said, you could probably put a cooler up there and sit on it. You'd be all right. But standing, it's not something you really want to stand and fish on. It's pretty wobbly. I'm waiting on a few more things to come in the mail before I can really tackle this project head on and get it all set up and ready to go. But this was the first step I wanted to take, so then I knew exactly what I was getting myself into and knew kind of what parts I needed to get. So to attach this all together at the end of the day, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using rib nuts. and I'm going to attach this plastic plate to the boat. On top of that, I'm going to attach a quick detach plate, and I'm still gonna need to figure out how I'm gonna do this. So if I was gonna just screw this on right now, I'd have 4 out of 6 bolts going through the plastic. I don't want to drill through this end cap on the boat. It's just not worth it, and it'd be at a weird angle since it slopes down, so a rib nut really wouldn't even work anyways. So what we're looking at is some rib nuts holding it to the deck, and I'll just have to tinker around and figure out how it's all going to come together. But honestly, I could probably get away with getting some longer bolts and running it through the plastic and just using the plastic as a spacer to the rib nuts, and then lining up that quick detach bracket with the bolts going all the way through, tightening it down. I think that's probably going to be one of the best ways to do it. And depending on the bracket, I might be able to add a couple extra holes so that way I can get at least 6 to 8 bolts going through the deck and holding it on there. So it's definitely a work in progress, and it's a kind of a work as you go scenario just given the circumstances with this boat. But all in all, it looks like it's going to work. This was something that I wanted to do since the time I got the boat, but I didn't quite know exactly how I was going to do it, and I figured a transit mount trolling motor would work just fine for my needs, but like I said earlier, not so much. So I'm excited to get this thing on here, get out and do some fishing. Like, this is the thing that's going to open up the door to going fishing. It has spot lock, it has GPS technology, it has remote control, it has everything that I've been wanting to get out of a trolling motor, and we're finally putting it on the boat. So that's going to wrap it up for today. Stay tuned, because we're going to be getting some other parts ready, getting this thing rigged up, and hopefully be hitting the water real soon.